Welcome back, Whisper Nation, to another Fantasy Whispers episode. Today, we're switching it up a little bit. Normally, we do the matchup preview breakdown for the Thursday night game, but we are going to be switching that over to Thursdays now. We are going to be doing the buy and sell episode. You guys, you should go and trade for, trade away some players that you should target this week and get them in your lineup due to matchups, or maybe just temper those expectations because of those said matchups. We're going to talk about all that and more. News and notes. I got my man, Big Travie, on the other side of the mic. You know what to do, Big Trey. Let's hit that intro and get into this show.
Right here.
I'm glad Johnny got me there because I slipped the button and fat fingered the intro. But if you like that fresh fantasy football content, like Johnny said, we're going to be talking about guys you can trade for, guys you can trade away. But if you want to keep rocking with the Fantasy Whispers, you make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on your way in. Welcome in, Whisper Nation. My name is Big Trav. You can find me on Twitter at Big Travie TFW. And now coming all the way in here is my man, Johnny Game Time Hicks on the other mic. Johnny, what's going on, brother? Sorry about that intro, brother.
Oh, it's all good. Oh man, we got another day. It's the day where we try to make some trades. We try to get some things happening for Whisper Nation, try to improve those teams. Man, we got a lot going on this week because of the buys. So there are a lot of opportunities, depending on what your situation is, where you could really set up your team for the next run at the playoffs, because that's where we're starting to head to. We're starting to get down to that crunch time on where you're trying to make that final push. And some of these guys, Travis, that we're going to talk about today could really help you do that.
Yeah, I mean, you spelled it out perfectly there. We're here at Wednesday. Your waivers went through this morning. We're the day before Thursday, the Thursday night football matchup. So this is that lull in your league. It's time to stoke those fires, those trade wins. Like, see what you can do here. See if you can, put out feelers for guys that are underperforming or overperforming. Try and fill those holes on your buy-mageddon, buy-apocalypse, whatever you want to call it. I was looking at some of my rosters today, Johnny, and even after waivers, I'm trying to figure out how to put pieces in and make it work, and it's a rough one.
It's bad. There's one league where I might not be able to play a kicker because I just cannot drop. I mean, I have Dalvin, Justin Jefferson, Deontay Johnson, Tony Pollard, and who else on that team? It's just like there's like five guys. Oh, I have Michael Thomas and Jerry Jeudy on my bench already as stashes. So it's like I can't drop any of those guys. Like maybe I drop Tony Pollard, pick up a kicker for this week, but I don't know, man. It's not looking great.
I had to drop Tony Pollard in a Yahoo league just to get a running back to play this week. It's not looking good, But Whisper Nation, that's what we're here to do. We're trying to play some games here as far as roster construction, trading away. I want to say what's up to everybody in the chat here. Do It 420, Garrett Cremine, Gus Ramos, Mr. Miyagi, Mr. Kevo6 from Twitch. Appreciate everybody in here. We will get to these questions and more as we start rocking through the show. A lot of you here with us right now. We appreciate you rocking with us and appreciate you guys working with us on the schedule change. Just want to let you know that this show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the best and easiest place to play fantasy football for big cash prizes. They have player prop bets like over-under on touchdowns, receiving yardage, rushing totals, and much more. We're going to help you build the best slips with all the information that we get you every single week. If you go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app, they're going to give you $10 when you use the promo code TFW. That is UnderdogFantasy.com, or download the app and use the promo code TFW for $10 of free money. That's TFW for $10. Johnny, before we get into this, and typically every week we're each going to give you a buy low, sell high player each. This week we've got a couple from Johnny, and we've got some cornerback and wide receiver matchups. But we want to get into a little bit of the news and notes because there's been some stuff of progressing here. So I'll rattle through some of these, Johnny, and you kind of give me your 2 cents as we work through some of these and tell me which one you think is going to be the biggest, detriment or boost for some of those fantasy football lineups out there. Tyreek Hill quad is still not practicing on Wednesday, so we got to monitor this. He was able to gut through it and actually put together a great game last week. T.Y. Hilton, also quad, unable to practice Wednesday. Remember, he came in with the neck injury, left with a quad injury. Not looking good for our guy T.Y. Hilton there, Sunday night game. Johnny, your boy Kadarius Toney with an ankle
Yeah.
missed practice Wednesday, looking like he's probably going to miss this game at least.
Which is unfortunate. He is doing well. I mean, he was targeted 3 out of the 5 routes that he ran, Travis, and was on his way to another explosive day. Had 36 receiving yards, and then had that ankle injury. So if you have him on your roster, this is what if you have him on your roster, don't get rid of him. I'd keep him. He looks awesome. And if I can, I would use this and try to acquire him because it's probably not going to get any cheaper.
Oscar the Grouch trying to acquire
goodness.
woo! Our boy
Appreciate
Oscar the
that.
Grouch always coming in here with the super chat. Appreciate
Dude,
you.
I appreciate that. That's awesome.
And Gus Ramos hitting him with a woo as well.
Yeah.
We love it. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Like we said, we'll get to these questions as soon as we rattle through some of that stuff. But Johnny, I like what you said here. Kadarius Toney, obviously probably a hold, still kind of carrying some of that league-winning upside if he can get back on the field healthy. The Browns are going to start Case Keenum, even after Baker Mayfield said he writes the book around here. Case Keenum's going to get the start on Thursday night, Johnny. Downgrade to the offense here. A lot of people are saying so, but I remember Case Keenum being able to ball a little bit, be able to sling that rock around. Do we actually think that Case Keenum's a downgrade here?
I think he's a downgrade to Baker, but it's not a huge downgrade, right? It's like when Tua downgraded to Jacoby Brissett, it was like, it is a downgrade, and that you're going from a starter to a QB, your second string quarterback, but the production should still be there. You should still be confident in Cleveland. I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that sentiment as well. Dawson Knox had surgery Tuesday on his broken hand.
Are they saying how long he's going to be out for? What is the
They haven't given us a timetable. They're trying to it's just a broken bone in his hand. It's not an actual his hand is broken. So they were saying that the bye week should help. I would hold on to him through the bye week. We might get a clearer timetable through there, but I understand a tight end. You probably don't want to hold a bunch of them on your roster, especially during Bipocalypse.
Yeah.
That kind of does it for our news and notes, Johnny. Any of those ones really sticking out to you as the big one here?
Definitely the Tyreek Hill one is big for me. Talking about this weekend, they have a great matchup for wide receivers right now. So you want Tyreek in this game. And then if he can't go, then, Mecole Hardman becomes an interesting play this week, switching over, probably going to take the bulk of the snaps from Tyreek Hill. So he's a guy that, with the Bipocalypse, man, we could use him if he's on the waiver. So he's a guy that I'm picking up now and just stashing on there. We'll find out more, obviously, as the week progresses. But this is something I'm definitely monitoring with Tyreek. Because I do think that there is a nice plug and play with, and Potter agrees.
Potter agrees, dude.
Yeah.
Potter says,
Potter's got Tyreek on Tyreek is on Potter's fantasy team, so he doesn't want him to sit.
Right on. Well, Whisper Nation, we appreciate you rocking with the news and notes with us. It's time to get into the meat and potatoes of this show, which is the buy low and sell high. So, Johnny, with your first buy low player or your buy low player, who you got on the radar here? For a guy that people can be targeting in their league as a guy they can go and purchase for maybe a little bit of a 80 cents on the dollar kind of situation.
And that's a perfect way to describe it, Travis. The wide receiver I'm going to talk about right now that perfectly fits that bill is wide receiver Terry McLaurin. Now, Terry McLaurin is a name, so he's going to be a little bit more difficult to acquire. But it's been a rough last 2 weeks for Terry McLaurin with just 8 catches for 78 yards. He and quarterback Taylor Heineke just have not been on the same page, Travis, with just 10 of the 19 targets deeming catchable. Not great, but Washington's number 1 wide receiver still ranks among the league's elites in air yards, deep targets, and target share, making this matchup versus Green Bay Packers a perfect buy low opportunity. Green Bay has been more stout in the earlier season, but with the recent injuries to that defense, they've loosened up a little bit and allowed wide receivers to have a little bit more fun on Sundays. And I expect that to happen this weekend with Terry McLaurin. And the Packers are still without Jair Alexander, which sets the stage for Terry McLaurin to really have a nice bounce back day. Travis, I am going to try to be sending out some trade offers for Terry McLaurin this week.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the target market share here, he's got a dominant target market share here. We know that. We know that he's the alpha. We know that Heineke looks to him. We know that Fitzpatrick is due back maybe in the next couple of weeks. So a lot of things working in the favor of trying to go and get Terry McLaurin. And his bad games haven't been terrible. So that's what you like to see, is like he's not going to sink your lineup, but it might be enough to get the current roster or the current GM who has Terry McLaurin off of him for this buy low tactic here. All right, Johnny, what about sell high? Who's a guy you're looking at right now that you know has popped a little bit that you could go and get some return, maybe use as a piece in the deal to go and get a Terry McLaurin or a buy low?
Yeah, a wide receiver that I'm selling high. This kind of hurts my heart. This is back-to-back weeks. I'm putting Arizona Cardinal wide receiver as a sell high here.
Damn.
But I got to do it because that's the reality of this offense, is that they are all going to be pretty solid wide receivers, but none of them are going to be able to truly meet that ceiling. And when you're looking at Christian Kirk, who this past week, coming off a monster performance again, tied for the most targets in a game with 8. Rondale Moore's snaps, they do seem to keep increasing, although this past week, Kirk actually regained that target market share over, that snap share over Rondale Moore. Could that have been because Cliff wasn't there? Maybe. We will have to continue to monitor that situation. But not only do you have to worry about Rondale Moore with Christian Kirk, you also have to worry now about Zach Ertz, who just got acquired by the Philadelphia Eagles. We know that they made that trade. Zach Ertz will be much more integrated in this offense, I believe, than Max Williams, because he's a better pass catcher. He's not as great of a blocker as Max Williams, which is why I also think that it will be Zach Ertz will be used more so than Max Williams was, because he's not as good of a pass blocker. And then just to finish it out, Travis, Christian Kirk has had 3 receiving touchdowns on just 26 receptions. That's so astronomical. That's so inflated that it doesn't bode well, statistically, for that to continue at that rate. So if you can add Christian Kirk, you're not going to be able to probably trade him straight up for a better player. But if you can package a couple of these guys, and then throw on, package Christian Kirk with another wide receiver or maybe like a low end RB2, and then you can upgrade the position. That's what I would do. I would try to get away from Christian Kirk right now, just because the inconsistency isn't going to be there.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, between him and Rondale Moore that are going to be splitting time at the slot, that's not enough for you to kind of be investing in as a guy you're going to play each and every week. So might as well try and use him for someone you will go and do that with. The chat popping off right now. I want to thank every one of you in here right now. Over 15 of you guys watching. Hit that like button if you like what you're hearing. And if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe and let us know in the chat. We see your questions. We're going to get to those shortly. But first, Johnny, we got to go through a little bit of cornerback wide receiver matchups that we like to do on this show as well. Give people a preview into this week. Let them know which matchups are going to be plus matchups that these wide receivers can attack and which ones they can temper expectations on, because the cornerback really has the advantage here. You have actually a couple plus matchups here. Let's start with one of your plus matchups here in Jacoby Myers, Johnny.
Our boy, Jacoby. Hey, we've been at, similar to Kyle Pitts, right? Where we're like, we knew Kyle Pitts was knocking on the touchdown heaven's doors a couple of weeks ago. And what happened? He finally got in there. Jacoby still has not caught a touchdown. Every time he seems to get a touchdown or get in the red zone or end zone, it seems to be called back, and he can't catch a break if his life depended on it. However, this is what we like. We stay with the data. We stay in the flames when the stats are telling us and pointing us and saying, hey, this guy is actually better than what he's actually showing on the field. And that is what it is. That's what's the result for Jacoby Myers right now. Jacoby Myers is the Patriots receiving offense in 2021. It's plain and simple. That's what it is. He's ran a route on 94.7% of dropbacks. He's seen 23.9% of the targets, and he's recorded 28.8%, Travis, of the Pats' air yards. You love all that. You don't like the fact that New England's low pass volume attack is kind of holding him back a little bit, but because of the condensed target market share and the fact that Jacoby is that main wide receiver there that they're targeting, in this matchup. It's a plus matchup. Jacoby needs to go in your lineup, especially in PPR. He's getting enough targets to sustain that. And then if we can cross our fingers and the fantasy gods can finally allow him to get in the end zone, he is going to have a mega day. So I love getting Jacoby this week. I love playing him in my lineup this week.
Jacoby, one of those must start, especially with By Apocalypse. He's definitely going to be a guy you're going to be looking to. But another guy you like is the Thursday night wide receiver, Cortland Sutton, who's going to be playing up against Cleveland, who has just kind of been torched lately against wide receiver. What's got your eyes glued to Cortland Sutton's matchup the most here, Johnny?
Cortland Sutton has been on an absolute tear, Travis, over the last couple weeks. In Whisper Nation, I'm not sure if you noticed or not, but Cortland Sutton leads all players in scoreless end zone targets, deep targets with 18, and total air yards with 937 this season. Again, you look at the stats, you look at the data, and it is backing up and showing us exactly what we want to see. We just aren't getting the mega touchdowns that we would hope, but look for him in tomorrow night's matchup. One of my favorite parts of moving this show from a Thursday to a Wednesday is that I can now bring up these Thursday games, and Big Travie doesn't get all angry at me because I can tell you about them. Cortland Sutton is going to have a mega boss day. Get him in your lineup. The Cleveland Browns defense that ranks third in most fantasy points allowed to the wide receivers over the past 2 weeks. And they've also, the Browns have also ranked 6th in deep ball rate faced, which plays right into Sutton's strength as an elite down the field receiver. So I think that he is going to have a really big day, Travis, tomorrow on Thirsty Thursday. Get him in there. He's going to be a big gulp, not a nasty tequila shot. You know,
hey,
he's going to be a big gulp.
Bro.
It's some of them, the good stuff, not the terrible, nasty stuff. But I'll give you a little foreshadow.
I love. We're gonna have to coin the phrase "Mega Boss Day." That's that's Johnny's way of saying he's really excited about a player. I do like Cortland Sutton. I think that he continues. The targets are really have really been there for him, and then Teddy Bridgewater doing a lot to maybe make sure that him and Tim Patrick stay, eating relevant on this offense and stay relevant. So yeah, it's definitely somebody I would definitely be targeting to put in my lineup. But I love that you put you're putting them in your lineup, but be excited on this Thursday night. Mm-hmm. That's a Thursday night thirst you could be excited about.
Yep.
All right, Johnny, we'll close out the show with one temper expectation matchup you have after looking at these cornerback and wide receiver matchups. You're saying maybe pump the brakes a little bit here on Devonta Smith.
Yeah, there are a lot of really nice matchups. That's the one nice thing is like the matchups that are given to us this week, and not those teams on bye are quite nice. So it was a little bit more difficult for me to find a wide receiver matchup that I didn't particularly think that was at least okay to throw in. So I went with Devonta Smith. With it being such a bye heavy week, I felt like it was justified in throwing him out here, Travis, because I do think that Devonta Smith will probably be in a lot of lineups this week due to all the buys. But
By-pocalypse.
But the by-pocalypse is here, yeah, and the Raiders on defense have actually been pretty stonewalling wide receivers, and that it's not as juicy of a matchup as it looks on paper or it has in the past. And so the Raiders this weekend just giving up the 4th fewest fantasy points to opposing wide receivers so far this year. Devonta Smith not necessarily having the greatest season. He's popped off from time to time, but this weekend's matchup, he is projected, according to Pro Football Focus, to get Casey Hayward, which is the Las Vegas Raiders cornerback there, who has just allowed 30 receiving yards to opposing wide receivers as the worst game of his all season. So I do think it's going to be bottled up for Smith this week. And so I'm not going to be excited to play him in my lineup if I have to.
Love it. Whisper Nation, we love giving you this extra information, these extra tools to help you dominate each and every week. We're moving this show to Wednesday, as we said, from Thursday. We're going to move that Thursday live to the Thursday Night Football preview. So make sure when you're looking at that, we'll have more information on the injuries and who we think is going to play and all that good stuff. So Austin will be joining us tomorrow for that. So look on the lookout for that. Today we'll drop this and also part 1 of the matchup preview. So you'll definitely want to make sure you're getting over to all the podcasts and check that out. But now it's time to rock through with Whisper Nation, who showed up and showed out today.
Yeah.
Appreciate all of you in the chat. Mr. Miyagi hitting us with the rock here. Finally, the Miyagi has come back to Whisper Nation. We appreciate you, Mr. Miyagi. Missed you, buddy. Mr. Kev says, should I trade away Metcalf and Ramondre Stevenson to get back Justin Jefferson and Rashad Bateman, Johnny?
It depends on what your record is right now. Obviously, Jefferson on a bye this week, Metcalf not on a bye. And
I actually like this deal. I think if you can get Justin Jefferson for Metcalf, he's probably going to lose a little bit of his edge here over the next month or so. So if you need the upside in your lineup, but you're right. If you're trading for that bye, remember that.
So if you can get through the bye, if you can get through the bye, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, exactly. Gus Ramos says, this episode is right on time for me. I've lost 3 in a row and considering putting Kyler Murray on the trading block along with Tyler Lockett. I wouldn't go and trade away Kyler Murray right now. I would maybe look at trading away Tyler Lockett. One thing about Kyler, though, not running as much. Not running as much as we thought he would coming into this year. So maybe there's some, I don't know. What are your thoughts here, Johnny?
They're really using, Chase Edmonds and more specifically, they've got James Conner that they're really giving the rock to within that 5-yard line. And unlike Drake last year, Drake got in on a fair amount of goal line carries, but he wasn't as efficient as Conner has been this year. And so you're seeing him really regress in that, touchdown. He's had a couple so far this season where he held it and snuck around. But last year, it seemed like that was their number one kind of running back or running option in the red area.
Whereas it's not anymore.
Yeah, it's not anymore. They trust James Conner to really carry the rock within that 2 to 3 yard line. So I don't mind, depending on what you got sometimes I've seen a lot of these cases, Travis, where it's like they have Kyler Murray and they have,
like Matt Stafford or something. Somebody,
or even now I'm forgetting his name from Hertz. They'll have have Murray and Hertz, and I think if you have
in that
then
case, yes, I don't mind it. But I think that Kyler Murray is putting on a show right now, and it's hard to want to get that off your roster. He's probably giving you, I don't know, 60% of your points or something like that,
Yeah.
Garrett Crumrine says, should I trade away T. Higgins? I'd pump the brakes on trading him away just yet. He got back through that game healthy. We'd like to see this offense continue to get gel more together and get going. It always depends on what you can get back in return. If you can get a good starting running back too, then maybe, yeah. But I would pump the brakes just a little bit on concern for T. Higgins.
Yep.
Mr. Miyagi says, I got an Allen Robinson for Hunter Renfrow offer. I want to counter with an A-Rob for Myers. Do I do that? Jacoby Myers?
I would do that, Jacoby, for A-Rob. I will say I would not do for Hunter Renfrow. He's a waiver wire guy you can pick up. I do think with A-Rob, though, blow up spot this weekend, I would play him this week. It sounds scary. It sounds gross. But I would play him this weekend. Good matchup. And then I would probably look to sell high on him next week when people think he's going to be coming back and be that, top low end wide receiver one. He won't be that, but he'll have a good weekend.
Oh no, he won't be that.
He won't be that.
Bambo, that's a great name. Bambo says, is Damian Williams droppable for Robbie Anderson or Chris Evans? I wouldn't drop him for either of those guys. Damian Williams could be back in the next week or so. But I mean, with Khalil Herbert playing so well, I'm not dropping him for Robbie Anderson though, right? I'm not.
Here's the thing, Robbie Anderson, a little interesting. Over the last 2 weeks, he's actually tied with DJ Moore, actually, with targets. He's had 2 double-digit target weeks in back-to-back weeks.
But he's not catching those.
Right.
Yeah,
that's the problem, which we came in. People, this is what you'll read articles and Robbie Anderson, I don't understand. He's getting 10 targets, but he's only catching 3. This is who he is. We were talking about this coming in. He's not good. He's not a good receiver. I'm sorry. He isn't. He's not. He can't catch it.
He flashed the one good year last year, and people kind of got hyped up, but they've totally changed his role back to the deep threat, and then he gets back into that 50% catch rate, which is not something you want.
No. Now, don't get me wrong. He's a wide receiver in the NFL. Like, he's good. But
versus these two right here, because Chris Evans' work exclusively last week was basically in garbage time, and it still was only 3 targets. I would hang on to Damian Williams for those two, because I do think if Damian Williams comes back, it would be a time split with Khalil Herbert at the very least. And this is a run-heavy team. Not saying they're very good, but they are a run-heavy team. So a decent hold for me. Miyagi says People Jones is available. Is he worth a start? I think, if OBJ is to sit this game, which it's looking like he might, Peoples Jones is someone to look at.
Yeah, not a great matchup, but by apocalypse, you could do a lot worse.
Garrett says, I have Darrell Henderson and Marvin Jones. Someone sent me a trade for them, Justin Jefferson. Someone sent me a trade for them, Justin Jefferson. That a good deal? I already have Elliott and Taylor. No, you want to keep Darrell Henderson.
Wait, whoa. Well, he has Zeke and Taylor, though.
Yeah, why would you get rid of Darrell Henderson? Why wouldn't you just keep building on your strength? I'm not going to go get Justin Jefferson for Darrell Henderson. Isn't a fair deal. And even with Marvin Jones involved,
I wouldn't do right. I would try to.
I mean, you need to
get
start
another piece, but I'm fine trying to acquire Justin Jefferson if my 2 running backs are Elliott and Taylor in a PPR league. I wouldn't mind moving Darrell, but you are going to need more.
It's a 2-flex league, Johnny. So he can start Darrell Henderson in one of his 2 flex or both of his flexes. The way it froze on your face there for a second.
Yeah, well,
the greatest reaction. So that's my thing.
They only start 1 running back and then 2 flexes
for my running back in a 1 running back 2 flex league.
Yeah.
But he can flex both.
He can flex both, but rest of the season, I rather have Jefferson than Henderson. If I have, that's my opinion. But Henderson's a good running back. Like Travis said, though, I wouldn't be trading Henderson and Marvin Jones for Justin Jefferson. I think even like Travis said, Henderson for Jefferson is still I don't know if I would do that. I mean, I would, but only because you have Taylor and Elliott. That's it. If it was like I only had Zeke and Taylor, if I only had Taylor and Henderson, I probably wouldn't do it. But the fact that you have 2 top 5 running backs rest of the season, I would feel confident in trading.
Should I start Noah Fant or Zach Ertz for week 7?
Noah Fant.
Crosby or Koo for kicker? I'd probably go with Koo.
Yeah, I would go Koo against Miami. They're giving up the 3rd most.
Should I trade Swift for Chubb in PPR? Ooh. I get Chubb. I would keep Swift. In PPR, I'd keep Swift.
Okay.
I mean, Swift's healthy. Swift's a top 7, top 8 back. He's going to consistently get work in PPR.
How long do you think Hunt is out for? You don't think it's season?
No, they put him on the IR. They think he's coming back. I think he's coming back. They haven't ended it. I mean, they said his season's not over. So
yeah. All right. That's fair. It's a decent trade. I don't
that one lost me my week.
Oh yeah, he was talking. Yeah, Taylor Heineke, dude.
Bryant Ortega, with Cook back healthy, would you drop Madison for Waddle? I don't have Cook.
No.
Yeah, I don't know if I drop Madison just yet. Yeah. This is interesting to me, but Waddle has just been so inconsistent. He's not somebody I'm really targeting in a big way. Which running back should I go and get off the waiver wire? Demetric Felton, Dearness Johnson are both good ads this week. Rashad Penny, kind of a below the radar, and then Jarrett Patterson, also a below the radar guy. You could go.
Yeah, the thing about
purposes, I think Penny is a good one for long term.
Also, Patterson for long term could be a decent. They're saying Gibson going in for a second opinion now on that shin. He could be out a significant amount of time, and if that's the case, then Patterson is going to take that early down workload.
What do you think I should do with Chris Carson? Should I try and trade him for anything at this point? His injury doesn't seem good. No, it does not seem good. If you can get some value for Chris Carson, I'd be worried about what your league values him at. But if you have somebody that likes him and can take him off your hands, for sure. Should I trade Kupp and Tannehill for Kyler Murray and Callaway? I'm 2-4 in a full point PPR. I would not be giving up Kupp in a full point PPR at all.
No,
Kupp would be untouchable in most cases for me in a full point PPR. You can stream a quarterback if you're really worried about it. If you're worried about Tannehill, this is a good matchup for Tannehill against Kansas City. So I would not be doing this, especially if you're only going to get Callaway back at wide receiver. That sounds like not a good one, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Do it 420. I'm in a dynasty rebuild. Is it time to sell high on Derrick Henry? If so, what player would you target? Thank you, Johnny.
Let's see. I'm in dynasty rebuild. I mean, it depends on what you can get for Derrick Henry. I don't mind if you're in a dynasty rebuild, kind of starting over. If I do get rid of Derrick Henry, though, like minimum, I'm getting 3. And shout out to Travis. Like this will be. I'll just bring this up because it's very similar. I traded Dalvin Cook with Travis, and he wanted 3 first rounders back, and he wanted a couple, like a second rounder and another player. And so like that was the haul that he required. I ended up giving him, basically an equivalent. So basically, if you are going to do this, you should require 3 first rounders, a second, and a player. If you're getting
you
up
want
a guy
something
like
usable for the rental, right? Like
right.
As you're trying to like kind of piecemeal something for this year, if you're going to give Derrick Henry up, I want multiple firsts, and I want something I can use in the meantime for at least one more year.
Right.
So that's where I was at with it, trading away Dalvin Cook as well. 90% of my bench is on bye. You and everybody else, Mr. Miyagi, are playing brutal. Tim Patrick, and that's not a bad thing. Tim Patrick been showing up this year.
Yeah, good matchup with Cleveland.
Jake 1079 says, who would you prefer in a dynasty single QB league, Josh Allen or Pitts?
Wait,
going forward in a dynasty single QB, I would take Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's valuable.
Well,
he's got a longer career life. He's going to give you more of the points.
I think it would depend on who my other. If I only have Josh Allen, then yes, then it's probably. But let's say I have Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. If I have Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, and I also have Kyle Pitts, I would trade Josh Allen instead of Pitts.
Broman says any trade pack / waiver recommendations. 2 and 4 have Aaron Rodgers, Devonta Smith, Michael Pittman Jr., AJ Brown, DeAndre Swift, Ernest, Hunter Henry, James Conner, Dalton Schultz, Stephon Diggs, Eckler, Justin Jefferson, Marvin Jones, Beasley, Damian Williams.
Sounds like you're a little unlucky here.
This squad looks good to me. I don't know that I would try to do too much to kind of.
I mean, I would. A-Rob is going to have a big week this week, so I would maybe package like A-Rob and
Devonta Smith, maybe.
Yeah, and like Devonta Smith, and try to maybe get a third. You have a pretty good foundation here. I mean, your starter is going to be AJ Brown, Swift.
Yeah, I would
Diggs,
probably cut ties with Logan Thomas for an RSJ in the meantime, because then you have Dalton Schultz when he gets off a bye. So that's something I would consider doing. Swift, Ernest Johnson, Hunter Henry. And you have Hunter Henry. Like, you have some time. Like, you don't need to be rostering Logan Thomas.
Right, yeah. I would
go and get some pieces here.
I would really try to, after this week, because Aaron Robinson should have a good week. Oh, no, that's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So I don't know why. For some reason I kept thinking A-Rob. I think you have a really good foundation. I would try to do like a Devonta Smith and a Marvin Jones, and you could probably sell Beasley a little high right now because he's had a solid game. So you could probably package or pair all 3 of those wide receivers and maybe upgrade your wide receiver spot there.
So Mr. Kev says I'm 3-3. It may cost me the game this week, but seems long term it would pay off to trade away Metcalf and Ramondre Stevenson to get Justin Jefferson and Bateman. Yeah, I actually think if you can do this deal, if you can survive this week because of Jefferson being on bye,
I do it.
I'd do it.
Yeah.
Bambo says, out of these 5, eliminate one from the starting this week. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyler Boyd, Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki, Hunter Renfrow, 2 flex and 2 wide receiver. Out of the 5, who do I sit?
Out of the 5, I would sit Amon.
Yeah, well, we'll have to check Parker's health. They may do it for you. He may not be able to go.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. Fair point.
Gus Ramos says, reason to trade Murray. My starters, Murray, Henry, Damian Harris, Javonte Williams, Jacoby Myers, and A.J. Green since Lockett is benched.
My starters are Murray, Henry, Damian, Javonte, Jacoby, and AJ.
He was talking about trading.
And Tannehill, I think he'll be okay.
Yeah.
Or no, he's got Murray. It was to trade away to.
Yeah, to try and get pieces back because he's trying to panic right now.
He's got Derrick Henry, Murray, and Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
How does he lose with that?
Damian Harris too, Javonte Williams.
I would hang tight.
I would hang tight. I think you can turn the corner here.
Yeah, you should be pretty solid.
Should I trade Collins, Herbert, and Gordon to acquire Debo and Kittle?
No.
I wouldn't be going to get both of these guys on the same team, and I wouldn't be trading all of those.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm fine trading Collins.
Like package those 3 up. Yeah, you can still package those 3 up, but go get something a little bit more juicy than that.
Yeah, I would. I like that.
Maybe use those to get Justin Jefferson if you pull that off.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
If Jarvis is healthy and plays, do you like him this week, potentially over T. Higgins? Thanks. I would start T. Higgins over Jarvis Landry this week. Yeah. I want to see Jarvis get back, stay healthy before I'm putting him back in my lineup. Tom Brady plus Scary Terry for Stafford and Chase.
No,
I don't think I would do that deal. No. Although Chase is intriguing here to get
Chase is intriguing, but
Terry, but Stafford, the fall off from Brady to Stafford could be
the difference between Chase and Terry is not going to be
enough. JT move in here, Tim Patrick or Hunter Renfrow this week. I'd be starting Tim Patrick.
All right, I like that one.
Is Damian Williams not coming back this week? I have Collins on my flex, and he is also
yeah.
I don't know if Damian Williams is coming back this week, but he should be. He should have every opportunity to. He's got to get those negative tests in. Upgrade advice: 10-team, half-point PPR, 5-1. I have Allen, Debo. Jamar Chase, Bateman, Patterson, Henderson, CEH, Javonte Williams, Elijah Mitchell, Darrell Williams. CMC owner needs RB help. Thanks, guys. If you could package Darrell Williams and Patterson, those would be the pieces I'd be looking, maybe even Debo. Those are like kind of the pieces I'd be looking to kind of consolidate. You know, you want to take some of these pieces that are rentals and not as, long-term upside and try and consolidate to something a little bit better that's going to help you long-term. So I would take, those 3 that I mentioned there and try and consolidate. And then if you're in a good spot, you said 5-1 here. Yeah. Then maybe you take all those 3 and go and get a CMC and then sit on CMC through the IR and then try to have back through because you're going to.
Would you do like, I mean, that's
go
what
get
I would,
that guy help now.
Yeah, I would try to go and acquire him with a 5-1 and like, I'm not the biggest CMC. Like, I don't know if he'll be, there's a decent chance, 50-50 chance. Like he's going to be kind of done for season.
Slayton is available. Is he worth a flex? AJ Dillon is available. Is he worth a flex? I mean, AJ Dillon in a game where they're 9.5-point favorites could be worth a flex for sure.
Yeah, I would go AJ Dillon over Slayton.
Jason, Brady's next 3 weeks are Chicago, New Orleans, and a bye where Stafford has Detroit, Houston, and Tennessee.
I get that. But then look at
like Houston.
And look at the other weeks after that. Look at Tom Brady's schedule down the stretch is the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen for fantasy football.
All in one show. What's up, guys? Who would you start out of Shepard, Mooney, and Patrick as a flex? Tim Patrick. Well, actually, I would start.
I would Shepard.
Yeah, I would start Sterling Shepard. Sorry.
Mega targets.
Any Browns wide receivers worth a start? Yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Mr. Miyagi. We told you up there.
DPJ.
Especially if OBJ doesn't go. Should I pick up Crosby or Koo since Boswell is out this week?
I would do Koo against Miami.
Yeah.
Coming off a bye, I do think that.
Ryan Evans, in my Dynasty League, I have Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. Is it worth it to keep Hurts to have as a backup or look to trade him for another piece? Always appreciate the input. Yeah, I mean, I think I would hang on to Lamar over Hurts long term. I think Hurts is someone that we're a little bit worried if he can long term be the answer at quarterback. So, yeah, that I would be looking to trade Hurts at maximum value if you could. I think that's a good idea.
When is Baltimore's? Let me just check when Baltimore's bye week is, because if you could just skate through, use whenever Baltimore has their bye, and then right after that, then trade away. I think you're going to be fine with that. Bye week is week 8. So yeah, I would hang on to him for 2 more weeks and then use them through Lamar's bye week. And then I think you can get rid of Hurts in Dynasty after that if you want to.
Johnny Fant says half PPR, choose 2, Amon-Ra or Parker if he plays, or Boyd. Be looking to play Boyd and Parker if possible. If Parker doesn't go, then you have your backup.
Yeah, exactly.
Should I hang on to Judy and MT, Johnny?
I am, and I can tell you personally, in a PPR league, I have both these guys. I've been sitting on them, even in this terrible apocalypse. I talked about how in theory, I should be dropping one of those guys in order to pick up a waiver wire just for the week, but I don't know if I can. So it depends on your situation. But I would probably hang on. Yeah, I would really try to hodl these. Hold on for dear life.
Udai Bindra says I'm 6-0 in my PPR league. Which QB, Allen? Which is QB Allen? Running backs Henry, Gibson, Patterson, Latavius, wide receivers Godwin, AJ Brown, Thielen, tight end Gronk, and Knox. Who should I trade?
Well, it sucks Knox got hurt, because I would say trade Knox.
Yeah, you're hoping Gronk can make it back here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you might have to do like maybe an RSJ or somebody off the waivers. I don't know that you need to be trading. I mean, if you can get somebody to take Gibson right now, I think that'd be something I'd try to get out of.
I would pair Gibson and Patterson right now and try to get out of it.
Yeah. But even other than that, I do like your squad. I think
even if you have to do like a Gibson, well, it sucks as like they're all kind of injured right now, so it's hard to find someone that's gonna. Because I would say do Gibson, Patterson, and Knox, and you could. If this was a week ago, you could get a haul for that, dude. I know. A week ago, you could have got a lot.
Says, any highlights from the Monday night stream was with the wife at the Michael Bublé concert.
Nice.
Oh, regular Casanova taking his wife, dude. Hey, Bublé, dude.
Michael Bublé, who every song of his sounds the exact same.
Dude, I went blurry here.
Oh, you look all blurry, dude. That's because that's what happens when we mentioned Michael Bublé on
one last. Should
show.
I trade Cooper for Terry? If you can get Amari Cooper, or if you can get Terry for Amari Cooper, I'd do that deal.
Hey,
I've held on to Judy this long. What's 2 more weeks? I mean, he can't be as bad as Lockett. I would think that Judy's going to come back to some really good.
Yeah.
Gibson and Patterson for Swift.
Oh, yes.
Got Woods and gave Fant and Renfro. Any thoughts? I don't mind that deal. I like Fant, though. I like Fant's usage. Woods' usage has been a little bit spotty. Fant, as far as the onesie position, has been really good as far as routes run and targets. So, but that could change with Judy back. So I don't mind this deal.
I do like
All right,
that.
Whisper Nation, that does it for us for our Wednesday live show. We will be coming back next week with more action here for you. The cornerback wide receiver matchups, obviously buy low and sell high. We've got the matchup part 1, podcast coming out later today, so make sure you guys are tuned in on all the podcast platforms to get that, and then we'll have the Thursday night preview show tomorrow. John, you got any last words for Whisper Nation here?
Good luck with any trades that you do. Let us know if you end up getting any trades, or if you need any other fantasy advice, just DM us. We'd love to answer those. And I hope you guys have a good Wednesday.
Yeah,
have a great
join
Wednesday.
us over on the Discord channel too. That's how you can get some of these. Make sure you're asking questions over there. For Johnny Game Hicks, I'm Big Travie. We're the Fantasy Whisperers. We're out. Peace.
Peace, Whisper Nation.
Right here.
Look at you go. You made it to the end of another one of our videos. Hey, if you still have some questions, I totally understand. Or you just want to join an awesome fantasy football community, head on over to our Discord chat. Link is in the description below. And if you're still not sold on us, check out one of these videos.